Welcome to Real Crime Zone, where we dive deep into the most shocking and puzzling crimes. Today's case is not just a chilling reminder of how quickly a seemingly innocent date can turn deadly, but it also very much shows the dark side of obsession. Our story takes us to the stunning island of Mauritius, a paradise known for its beaches and beautiful landscapes. But beneath its serene surface lies a haunting tragedy that took place just a month ago. That is, in August 2024. Zaliya Shamigulova, a 29-year-old young tourist who thought she was heading into a romantic adventure when she connected with a man on Tinder. She had dreams of love and excitement, but fate had other plans. What started as a hopeful encounter ended into a nightmare when her life was brutally cut short after being discovered with multiple stab wounds. The incident was so horrific it left everyone shocked and troubled. But it was during the investigation that extremely haunting details emerged that made this case even more disturbing. Zaliya's tongue was cut out, and part of her throat was removed, likely to silence her cries for help. This violent act stemmed from an obsession by a man who barely knew her. This case isn't just about a tragic ending. It highlights something deeply unsettling about human behavior. You might have heard of Adele syndrome, a term used in psychology to describe an intense obsession with another person. It's named after Adele Hugo, who suffered greatly from unrequited love. Her obsession led to a life spent in turmoil, and sadly, Zaliya's story very much relates to that kind of devastation. Why did this happen? What drove someone to such an extreme? Join us as we reveal the shocking details of this tragic case and see how obsession can lead to such horrific outcomes. Zaliya Shamigulova was a vibrant 29-year-old university teacher from Russia, known for her lively and outgoing personality. She loved sharing her adventures online, giving everyone a glimpse into her joyful life. Zaliya was especially active on social media, where she often posted updates and photos that showcased her adventurous spirit. On August 12, 2024, she shared a stunning picture of herself in an Indian outfit, celebrating her experience as a guest at an Indian wedding in Mauritius. With a caption that invited her followers to rate her look from 1 to 10, it was clear that she was having a fantastic time. Unfortunately, this cheerful post would be her last update, and no one could have predicted the tragedy that was about to happen. Zaliya was vacationing in Mauritius, a beautiful tropical island located about 700 miles east of Madagascar. Known for its lovely beaches and peaceful environment, it seemed like the perfect getaway. However, things took a dark turn. Witnesses reported seeing Zaliya on August 17, the day she disappeared. She was wearing a white and blue dress and was captured on CCTV footage getting into a blue Toyota. This car was driven by a local man who offered to give her a ride. When Zaliya didn't return to her rental apartment that evening, her friend who was traveling with her quickly became worried. She reported Zaliya missing right away, sensing that something was wrong. As the hours passed and there was still no sign of Zaliya, her family back in Russia began to receive strange messages from her phone. These messages claimed that Zaliya had intentionally chosen to disappear and didn't want to keep in touch anymore. This was shocking for her loved ones. Zaliya had always been very open and communicative. She regularly updated her family and friends about her travels, sharing every excited moment. So the idea that she would suddenly cut off all contact felt completely out of character. Her family felt alarmed and confused. Why would Zaliya want to disappear? The messages seemed odd and raised many questions. Her friends and family knew something wasn't right. Zaliya was always enthusiastic and engaged with her loved ones, and this unexpected change in her behavior sent alarm bells ringing. They couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible might have happened to her. Concerned for her safety, they decided to take action. The police were contacted immediately to report her missing. Authorities began their investigation, trying to piece together the last moments of Zaliya. As they dug deeper, they sought information from locals, examining the CCTV footage and reaching out to anyone who might have seen her after she got into the car. As the investigation into Zaliya Shamigulova's disappearance unfolded, Attention turned to a man named Puryavirsing Sundur. He was a 29-year-old IT engineer from Mauritius who had matched with Zaliya on Tinder. There was some confusion about whether they met before she arrived on the island or connected after she got there, but it was clear that they had spent time together. This suggested their relationship was more than just a casual meeting. At first, authorities viewed Sundur as a potential witness. There was no suspicion that he had anything to do with her disappearance. However, the investigation took a shocking turn when Sundur confessed to a crime. As detectives probed deeper, they made a crucial discovery. Blood was found in Sundur's car. This evidence raised serious doubts about him and shifted the investigation in a new direction. With the evidence mounting against him, Sundur eventually led police to a significant location. He directed them to an area called Leri, about a 25-minute drive from where Zaliya and her friend had been staying. Tragically, it was in this location that Zaliya's body was discovered in a shallow grave. The scene was horrifying. Zaliya's body was found with clothes, and she had been brutally stabbed multiple times. The wounds were primarily around her chest and breasts, indicating that this was not an accident but a deliberate act of violence. The details surrounding her death sent shockwaves throughout the community and her loved ones. Sundur's confession revealed even more shocking and gruesome details about what had transpired. As investigators learned more, they pieced together a disturbing picture of events leading up to Zaliya's death. It became clear that the encounter that began with hope and excitement had turned into a nightmare. What was once seen as a beautiful vacation in a tropical paradise had transformed into a chilling story of betrayal and violence. Puryavirsing Sundur's confession sent chills down everyone's spine. He admitted not only to killing Zaliya Shamigulova, but also to mutilating her body in a horrifying manner. In a particularly gruesome act, he cut out her tongue and pieces of her throat, intending to silence her so she couldn't scream for help. The thought that Zaliya might have still been alive during these horrifying moments is truly unsettling. This terrible incident unfolded on August 22nd, just 5 days after Zaliya went missing. As the investigation deepened, Sundur explained his shocking motive: jealousy. He claimed that Zaliya had been unfaithful, cheating on him with someone else. This revelation was heartbreaking. Sundur had envisioned the future with Zaliya, dreaming of love and happiness together. He wanted to marry her and build a life filled with companionship and joy. But when he allegedly found out about her infidelity, it shattered him completely. Devastated by what he saw as a betrayal, Sundur sought a twisted form of revenge. In his confession, he detailed how he came up with a dark and cruel plan. He pretended to take Zaliya on a sightseeing trip, making her believe that they were about to enjoy a beautiful day together. Little did she know he had something far more evil in mind. What was supposed to be a fun outing quickly turned into a nightmare. During this supposed trip, Sundur attacked her with a knife, ending her life in a brutal and tragic way. This shocking turn of events highlighted the depths of his anger and betrayal. The transformation from romantic intentions to horrific actions was both shocking and tragic. Zaliya, who had traveled to the island for a joyful vacation, became a victim of this unexpected violence. Now it's important to understand that Puryavirsing Sundur's actions had nothing to do with love. Despite his claims of heartbreak, his behavior crossed all lines of what could be justified by pain. His actions were not those of a man wounded by love. They revealed something deeply disturbing and dangerous. Local media reported that detectives were still searching for Zaliya Shamigulova's missing body parts and clothing. The shocking discovery of her remains had shaken the island, but the investigation was far from over. Even without all the pieces, Zaliya's loved ones held a funeral ceremony to honor her memory. This gave them a sense of closure before her remains could be returned to Russia. Authorities suspected that Sundur had planned to completely dismember Zaliya's body. This horrifying intention adds an even darker layer to the crime. However, something went wrong with his plan, and instead of carrying out his intentions fully, he hastily buried her body in a shallow grave on the island. Remember those strange messages that Zaliya's family received? It's possible that Sundar was behind them. While it's unclear whether he sent them in English or used translation apps to communicate in Russian, it shows his desperate attempts to cover up the crime. But despite his efforts, the scene he left behind clearly indicated the premeditated nature of his actions. As of now, the case against Purevir Singh Sundar is still open. He remains in custody while he waits for his trial. Now, many people are anxious for justice to be served. They want to see him held accountable for the terrible crime he committed against Zaliya. The community hopes he never walks free again. The desire is for him to spend the rest of his life in prison, far away from anyone he could harm. This case has sparked a lot of emotions and conversations about justice and accountability. What do you think he deserves? Should he face life in prison, or do you believe he deserves a harsher sentence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this episode. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our next in-depth investigations on Real Crime Zone. See you in our next video.